Good morning from Big Sky Country. I'm Stacy, owner of Montana Used Bricks. And before I get started with today's food for thought video, I'm going to go a little off topic here for a second. I just wanted to let you know I've got a lot going on. Last week I took the easy way out and just used a Lego haul that I had scheduled for later in the week. And this week it is Sunday morning, and I usually like to do these Saturday so that if I have to, I have time to edit it on Sunday. I'm really pushing it. We just have a lot going on between fostering the kittens, an extra workload because we're doing some migrating of systems at work, and also because we're in the process of trying to purchase a 21-foot travel trailer. There's just a lot going on, and my mind is not on videos, it's not on Lego. The Lego store is just basically doing that running itself thing where I'm just processing orders as they come in. I haven't had time to do inventory, and I'm just a little burnt out this summer. This may be my last video for a couple of weeks, possibly a month. But I will try to throw out a couple of short vlog videos. Maybe if I'm working on something that you might find interesting, I might do a short 4 or 5 minute video on that. So I apologize that I won't be getting these videos out as regularly as I have been. I'm hoping to pick back up after Labor Day, but the next month or so is going to just be really hectic for me. Plus I have a friend coming from out of state actually, to stay a few days. So there's going to be a little bit of cleaning involved so that the house is presentable. So before I get to the topic, I just want to say again, thank you for everybody who watches my videos. I think I'm really close to 600 subscribers if I haven't gotten past that. And the view count is just phenomenal to me. It's like, thank you for taking the time to watch my videos, especially to those who take the time to like and also to comment. And if you are commenting and you have even just the slightest question, or maybe you run a store and you get a question a lot and you're kind of curious how other people might answer that question, put it in the comments, because like I said, I'm scrambling every week to find content. I do have one more video idea, but it's going to take a little bit more research to be able to get that out there, but maybe I'll find some time to work on that. Not holding my breath on that. Let's get into some of the food for thought for today. The first one has to do with international shipping. And the first comment comes from Facebook, the Bricklink Worldwide Sellers and Buyers Group, which is a great forum if you haven't been there yet. And this is from quite a while ago too. I got to throw that out there. This is not a whine or a moan. It's a genuine question about sellers in the USA. Why are so many of you, not all as I've placed many successful orders with US sellers, so reluctant to ship overseas? I'm generally intrigued. I see so many listings where sellers won't send abroad. It's the same on eBay. This week I made an offer to a seller for a vintage set, and the seller wouldn't budge on the shipping and turned down the offer. It got me thinking. There must be reasons behind it, especially when sellers are turning down money. Is it down to bad experiences with foreign customs with US mail? Is it expense, packages going missing, or is it a nightmare with the paperwork? I had this question set aside, and then last week I had somebody comment, do you do international shipping? If so, I would like to see a video with examples of shipping costs. And when I first started, I didn't do any international shipping just because I was trying to get my feet under me to figure out how to just run this successfully in the US. And I did open up my store to international shipping for about, I want to say 6 months to a year. And I didn't get a lot of orders, but I was finding that the shipping charges were so high that they were canceling, or there was a couple of times I sent packages. One went, I believe, went missing, and another one took like forever to get there. And this was pre-COVID, so I'm not sure what the issue was. So when COVID hit and I started hearing about all the slowdowns with international shipping, I decided just to remove that. Since we were doing so well without having the international shipping, I just never turned it back on. And I don't think I will. I do have a disclaimer in there that if they are international, to go ahead and message me and I will give them a quote for the shipping, and if they're willing to pay the shipping charges, I will ship it. I've had maybe 2 people do that in the last 2 years, and the last one, the person was like, nope, $16 to ship to the UK, no thank you. But I am basing that on the cheapest way I can send it and still have some kind of insurance or tracking that the package is going to get there. And people don't like that, so I'm not doing international shipping. For the person that asked about whether or not I would do a video on it, no, because I'm not going to do a video on something that I'm not using. But there are plenty of other videos out there of Bricklink stores that do international shipping, and I'm pretty sure that they have videos on how to do that successfully. I'm just not interested. I have enough to do here in the US, and I'm happy with the customer base that I have right now. That might change when I retire and I decide that I want to do that a little bit more. As for some of the other questions that he brought up, like the paperwork, the custom forms for me, I never had an issue with. The first one I did just because I didn't know what I was doing. But once I started doing it, the custom forms are really easy to fill out. There's really not a whole lot to do. You just put in that they're Lego parts, how much they're worth, and that's about it. And like I said, the only other experience I had that was a negative was when the package went missing, and the one that took forever to get there. And there are certain countries where those packages will more likely go missing than others, or will take even longer to get there, or there's no tracking that can be done to find out what happened to the package. You can check the forums and other YouTube videos to find out which countries those are, and you can exclude those from your list. So you could just explain, I don't ship to these countries due to not being able to track the packages or whatever. I had a Star Wars Snowspeeder manual that a gentleman from Germany wanted to purchase, and that was my first international sale, and that's how I got into it. Once I realized it wasn't that big a deal to do it, then I was a little bit more interested in trying it, but the shipping is just outrageous, so it's not worth it to me. Hi, I really appreciate your videos. I run a Bricklink store in Sweden. I've been following you for some time now, and I really like your tips and tricks and comments. So thank you. I always love to hear that. I have a question. How do you store minifigure heads that you have for sale? I have a hard time to find the right head when I get an order. It always takes a lot of time to find the right one. I have to look through so many bags. How do you do it? Regards, Michael. So thanks again for watching my videos. I always appreciate that, and I think it's so much fun that these videos are going worldwide, so I love to hear from people from other countries. That is just exciting to me. As I've said many times before, my husband handles all the minifigure stuff. That includes the minifigure heads. We have tried several different ways to do them, and I would be curious how other stores are doing them, because our way works for us, but it may not work for others. So please put in the comments how you store your minifigure heads for purchase, because I'm sure your way might be easier than our way. Basically, what my husband does is he sorts the heads by solid, hollow stud, and blocked open stud. So those are all in 3 separate places so that we don't mix those up, because some of those you have the same face pattern with different type of studs on top. So he tries to keep those separate. Since we don't have as many of the solid studs anymore, he just keeps those in one of these drawers. There are some bags in there. If the heads are similar, he'll put the bag in there with the head number so that we know which head is which. But for the most part, the solid ones just go in a drawer, because like I said, there isn't as many of those. The rest of them are scattered throughout our store. They're in either the larger drawers like this, or they're in what we call a stackable, which is a little bit bigger container. And he has them in these bags here. He has rows of 8, so 4 or 5 rows of 8 heads, usually as different as possible, so when you pick it up you can see right away which head you're getting. Try not to put similar heads in the same bag, because then you're doing that squinting thing of, Well, does that one have a dimple on his chin? No. Well, does this one have a dimple? You don't want to be doing that because that's what wastes your time. So you want to make sure that similar heads are in different bags. What we'll do is we'll put like bag 1, bag 2, bag 3, bag 4, bag 5. So when we do the drawer number, it will be drawer 710, bag 1 or bag 2 or bag 3. So you're still looking, but you're not looking as much. You can stack the heads, like I said, I think 8 heads will stack together, and you can put 4 or 5 in a bag. And it's a lot easier because they're all stacked together. They're not jumbled all at the bottom of the bag, and you can just flip it to kind of look to see which heads that you're looking for. It's not perfect by any means, but it works for us and my husband. Right now, I don't have the samples in the bag because my husband has them in the house. He's still working on going through some of the minifigure parts. So he brought out all the torsos and the legs back out to our shop, but he still has the heads in there. So anytime there's an order with a head on it, I have to send him a quick little text and say, did you see the latest order? And he'll bring out the heads that I need. So most of the time I don't even have to look them up. He's the one that's going through all the bags to find them. So I could say it's really easy for me, but not everybody's going to have that option. Also had this question, and I've answered these previously, but I'm going to go ahead and answer it again because I realized that not everybody has watched all my videos, and I just wanted to answer this quick question, which was, what is your washing process? Also, is your shop a garage or a shed? Just curious. Thanks for the videos. Always like watching them. Again, thank you. Love hearing that. For the first question, my washing process, it varies a little bit. If I'm getting a bulk lot, like I did a couple of weeks ago, I got a bulk lot from my neighbor, I will just dump those into one container with some dish soap and put it outside, and then throughout the day I'll agitate the water to knock some of the dirt and stuff loose. When I'm just doing my inventory, if I see dirty parts, I have a little container I set off to the side and I will toss them in there. When that gets full, I'll take them in the house, and I have 2 containers in the house, one for white and one for colored parts. The white parts will get a tablespoon of OxyClean and just a little bit of dish soap, and then the colored parts will just get the dish soap. There are times that I do have to do a little bit of scrubbing if it's a part worth it. Sometimes it's not worth it. It just goes in the filler box. But I do deal with used older parts, and some of them it is worth it to do a little bit of extra work to use a toothbrush to clean it off, or maybe a little Goo-Gone to get the sticker residue or ink off of the part. I don't do that a lot just because most parts it's not worth it, but there have been a couple that it's like, it might be worth it to scrape this, see what's underneath all the goo. It's really up to you. The ones in the house, I do tend to let soak for like a week or so, sometimes longer if I forget I have them or if I get busy, but they're fine. I've left a couple times they've been in there 3, 4, 5 weeks, and I've always afraid I'm going to ruin the parts, but when I take them out, they're just fine because they're sitting in water. That's it. As long as there's no metal axles, the bricks with the metal axle on them, I've ruined a couple of bricks because I didn't realize that was in there, and if they touch, the rust gets everywhere and you might as well just throw everything out. But other than that, it works good for me. If you do it differently or you have a better way of doing it, as always, comments, because I like reading the comments, plus it gives me ideas for future videos. So there was also the question of, is your shop a garage or a shed? Yes. I don't know how else to describe it. The shop itself is sitting on a cement slab that was poured before my husband bought the house, and it was meant to be a garage. When we started talking to contractors, our idea was we would build a garage I would use as my shop until we decided we didn't want to do this anymore, or we would sell the house. Then there would be this garage. Once we had the contractors come out and they started looking at it, at the time my husband had a Dodge Ram pickup, I had Jeep Cherokee. They got to looking at the slab and they said, you know what, once you build this, you're not going to be able to get the Dodge Ram on the slab that you have. The Jeep will be a little bit tight. Are you sure you want to build a garage? And once we started looking into it, we thought, you know what, we're just going to build a shop. We're just going to do 4 walls, a door, a couple of windows, and be done. So there is no garage entrance on this shop, and there's a door that faces our house. There's 2 windows, none along the back wall, just because that's the alley, and if somebody broke in, we wouldn't know. So we didn't put any windows on the back alley or along one side, just because we wanted to have all that wall space for shelves. I think the first video that I did, or first full-length video I did in March of 2021, has all the information on how we built our shop, and it has some pictures of the progress as well. So you might want to check that out. All right, so the next one. Hello, I've been enjoying your videos, and I'm in the process of setting up my own Bricklink store. My biggest concern right now is making sure I'm sorting by the correct color. It's hard to tell which color is which looking on the computer screen. Is there any kind of reference guide that you can purchase so I don't have to make the mistake of sending a customer the wrong color? And the answer to this is yes and no. There are color guides you can purchase. You just have to look. I think some stores do a custom build type thing for that. You can also create your own. Usually it's just several colors that I have issues with, because as you go through this, you start to learn the colors, so you know the difference between light bright blue and medium blue, medium azure and medium blue. You learn as you go along. The other thing you can do is create a sheet of those colors that you always have issues with. I would have 2 plates. I would have a light bluish gray plate and a light gray plate, and I would put them together, because when I see them, I know that one is the light gray and one is the dark bluish gray. My mom put sticky notes on them when she was helping me sort, because then it was easier for her to remember. We did the same thing with the dark grays, the browns, and several other ones, but like I said, my husband took those into the house, so I haven't seen those for a while. So I did create my own so that I could remember what was what. Or a lot of times if I don't have a big pile and I just grab one, I don't always remember which color is which. So I will have this little cheat. This is just some oddball bricks and plates that I had around. I have a brown and a reddish brown, because these always get me, unless I have them side by side. If I'm doing bricks and I have both colors, I can tell them apart. But if I grab it out of a box, a lot of times I'm not quite sure which one I'm holding. The other one I always seem to get confused is the medium lavender and just regular lavender. Again, if I have both of them in my hand, I can tell them apart, but if I just have one, I start second guessing myself. So I always keep that handy. Same with the azures. And I do occasionally get confused with the light bright blue and the medium blue if I just have the light bright blue, because I'll start thinking that's the medium even though it's not. And this is just that medium nougat because I sometimes get that confused with dark orange if I'm not really paying attention. I just put some colors together that I have issues with, that this is just a reminder, oh yeah, this is the darker one, this is the medium one, that sort of thing. So you just need to do whatever works for you. Like I said, I think there are stores out there that are selling color palettes. I have never really looked into it. There might even be some on eBay, but again, you can also create your own. The other big helper with that is if you go on Bricklink, and I'll try to remember to put a screenshot in here, you can look up known colors, and you can also do that on Brickstore. And I have mine set on just known colors. So if I'm looking, a lot of times it's like, oh wait, they don't even make that part in brown. It's got to be reddish brown. And that's another great way to do it, and it'll save you a lot of times. It'll also help you start learning those colors. Other than standard bricks and standard plates, a lot of pieces only come in certain colors. And so that will also help you start learning what some of those colors are, because obviously if there's only one blue on there, it's going to be that blue. Just something to keep in mind. So the next two are just follow-up to ones that I talked about in a previous video. There was some discussion on media mail, whether or not you could send instructions as media mail. Some people say it's okay, some say it's not, because it's more of an advertisement, because you have the advertisements on the back of the instruction manual. So I've never sold them that way. I did, post the question. If anybody knew the answer, please put it out there. And I did have somebody respond. USPS media mail is usually only inspected at your post office, and it is really up to your postmaster general. If you ship, it will get to your customer, but if they flag it, your customer will get a huge bill to receive it. So there you go. It doesn't really say whether or not the instruction manuals count, but if the Postmaster General thinks, no, this is an advertisement, you're not going to get the bill for it. Your customer is. So you have to decide if it's really worth it. Okay, so the last one has to do with the eco-friendly shipping option. And I talked about this in a this and that video, and then I showed how I set that up in my store. People would be able to do that option. When I first set that up, I wasn't having very many people choose it, yet heard that people will choose that option more than the other. So I went back and I looked at it. I changed the title of the shipping method, because before it said USPS First Class Eco-Friendly and USPS First Class Standard. I changed it to Eco-Friendly First Class and Standard First Class. And once I did that, I don't know if it's because now that eco-friendly is the first option, or if they see that now. I've had a lot more people picking that option since I changed the title of the shipping method. So if you are thinking about doing that, just make sure that eco-friendly is the first thing they see, and they are more likely to choose it. Here is my issue with the eco-friendly though. I'm more than happy to do that, but for years we have always sorted into multiple bags, probably a lot more than we should. We always sorted by color and size. So color first, then size. Now they're saying, oh yeah, just put it all into lesser bags. I'm having trouble figuring out what is lesser bags. Am I putting too many parts into one bag, or am I still breaking it out too much? So I'm not sure where that line falls between dumping everything in one bag and dividing things out so that it's still a little bit easier and things aren't going to get as scratched during shipping. I'm working on that. I haven't had any complaints so far. It's nerve-wracking to me, because it's like, oh, maybe that's too many in one bag. Oh, maybe that's too many bags. So it's just something I'm going to have to work through. So here is the comment thread. Have you had customers choose the eco-friendly shipping option? I'm curious to know what percentage of customers are choosing it. In my store, about 90% of the orders are eco-friendly. Somebody also stated, I have flat rate of $5 for priority mail, and 100% of people choose it because of the 10% discount with the eco. I like that, an incentive to go eco-friendly. And that is great too. I love that if they choose that option, then they get an additional 10% off their order, because you are saving on packaging. So that's a great incentive to offer to people. So I want to thank both the people who responded and asked me about that. As for the percentage, my percentage doing it, I would have to say it's probably, I would say about 80% right now. Maybe a little bit more. It's kind of hard to tell because I've only been doing it for about a month or so. But I am really happy with the number of people that are choosing that option. And I have to say it makes bagging up orders a lot easier and not nearly as complicated as I was making it. So I'm not sure by the time I edit this down, I've had quite a few interruptions this morning, how long this video will be. It may be a lot longer than what I thought, but I'm going to work on getting it edited and get it uploaded so that you guys can watch it today. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you really liked it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Missy, you're interrupting me. I can't do this and hold you. I know, you're neglected. Yes, you're a neglected kitty. Yes, you are. Yeah, but can you please go outside and play and let me do my video, please? Yeah? Okay. There you go. All right. Bye, Missy. Bye. No, bye. Bye. Goodbye.